Hey, hello and welcome in everyone. My name's Sugi Yamagawa, and tonight on VTubing My Slow Life Hobbies in My 30s, we are gathered around the campfire to make my first recipe from the official Stardew Valley cookbook. Pretty excited about this. Should be a really fun time. So, we're going to be making the roots platter today. But before I get into anything else, the weather's great, the fire's warm, and most importantly, the beer's cold. So, cheers. So, where to begin? Where to begin? Simple. Hey now, don't be sassing me. I got in my magic. So, I'm going to be making one substitution to tonight's dish. The dish calls for Tokyo turnips. Well, I don't have reasonable access to Tokyo turnips. Granted, I have just about nearly everything else. Actually, a moment. Put a little bit of light on the situation. Yeah, that looks a little bit more cozy. So, I'm going to be subbing the Tokyo turnips for daikon. So this is good old daikon radish. So characteristics between this and the Tokyo turnip is 1, it's a root vegetable, has that in common with the Tokyo turnip. 2, it is white, and 3, and most importantly of all, it is certainly wheat. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start prepping this bad boy. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, I'm going to try to get because when I do radishes, I always try to do long cuts down the radish, because as I get started here, you're going to see that I end up with these round shapes. And the thing is, with round shapes roll, and they roll quite well. So by breaking up the round shape a little bit, I don't have to dance and chase bits of radish across my cooking surface, which I really don't want to do. I really don't want to do that. That is prefer to avoid. So let's see, I want to make sure those are of reasonably good size, but also because I want to make sure they cook consistently. And I'm doing a very poor job of leveling my radishes the way I want to, but it is doing enough of a job to keep things consistent as far as I'm not having to chase radishes, which is nice, because before I figured out this technique, it kind of made dicing radishes quite the pain. Ooh, wait a second. I might have to do a taste test on this guy. Because I don't know, I see that brown ring. Nope. That is 100% radish. Zesty, but very mild flavor though. That's one of the reasons why I really like daikon. Daikon's got a nice, like, it's zesty, but it's also like a mild radish flavor. It's not like a really intense radish flavor, which supposedly that's one of the really good characteristics to the Tokyo turnip has good characteristics like that. So you see, that's what I mean about the radishes rolling. Also, we're going to be using the Dutch oven today, and for me to use the Dutch oven, I need to have a good amount of coals. So I want this to burn down quite a bit more than where it is at now. So And honestly, we're just gonna reach it. Whoa! Oh my goodness gracious! Look at this bad boy. So, this is a rutabaga. I did not know. I did not know a whole terribly lot about these things before tonight's dish. So, this is a lot. This is really a lot, and I don't need a lot. So, I'm going to be cutting this down, but before I do that... Oh, there you are. Hello, peeler. So, I'm going to get my little cardboard box here to catch my scraps. So, we're going to go around and try to peel this guy. I'm going to try and keep as many of my scraps in mind. Okay. One part peels nicely, but the other part does not peel nicely at all. And I'm not going to be using the whole rutabaga for tonight because the recipe only calls for 8 ounces, and there's certainly more than 8 ounces of root here. So, since we've got more than 8 ounces of root, I'm thinking what I'll probably do is try to cut this in half and only work with half the rutabaga. So I'm going to try and mostly just skin the hemisphere. And once the hemisphere is sufficiently skinned, I'll probably cut this in half, and we'll be working with what we have at that point. Now, interesting thing about rutabaga is, at least as far as I'm concerned, well, I don't know, I'm a big botany guy, and I like to consider myself an individual who knows a fair amount of things about plants. But apparently, the humble rutabaga here is actually a cross between a turnip and a cabbage. So, fun fact for you people out there. So let's see, I'm here and here. Honestly, I think we have quite a bit of rutabaga, so let's go ahead, set this off to the side. Grab a, kind of try to keep my work surface somewhat clean. As you can see, I'm not always successful. I try, but I'm not always successful. This bad boy, probably gonna really push my knife. I should do myself a favor, bring my knife forward. Bring your knife forward, Sugi. There we go. And work with the thicker part of the blade. Wow-wee. Holy smokes. That is... I really don't want to cut my fingers. Wow. So, as I do a fair bit of wood chopping, woodworking, wood whatevers, the best thing you can do is, if you're struggling with a cut, is figure out a way to make one big cut smaller cuts. So I'm going to really try and work it in from this. Wow. Actually, yeah, let's try this. Yeah, that seems to be it. Oh, that's a good sound. Let's see here. It looks a little dicey with my hands right now. What I'm trying to do is just back my knife out of the rutabaga a little bit. There we go. Readjust. Another good sound. And holy smokes. And I just keep spearing this bad boy. Something like that. Okay. Woohoo! Nice. That worked out. Mostly. Okay. So. Holy. That's tough tissue. That's some really tough tissue. But yeah. Okay. So let's just cut off a little bit of this end. Take that. Hit that in the scrap bin. And so, there's the remaining rutabaga. So, actually, we'll throw you in my bin of root vegetables. And I'm getting me a sip of beer after that one. So, I want roughly 3/4 inch cubes. 1, 2. Now for the last bit here, because I'm happy with these guys, but for this guy, seems a little too thick. So I think what I'll do, I think we'll just split the difference and go with that. And oh, I didn't get any feedback. I'm so used to getting like some form of like feedback when I successfully cut through. Make a nice chop. Okay, so those are all thin enough to dice. They're gonna be thick, but that's fine. A bit big, but it's fine. Recipes are guidelines, not actual rules. So, there we go. Nice. Good sized chunks. And then we'll clean off some room from our cutting board. Gotta free up some room. Space is always at a premium around here. Okay. I'm not so optimistic I could do both at the same time. So we'll do that. So you bring your knife in. There you go, buddy. There you go. Go. Into there. Chop. And let's just give that a bit of a dicing. There we go. Oh! Smoke decided to really take my eyes out there. Okay, so that we're 2 out of 3 for our root crops. Now this fella here looks pretty gnarly to me, and that is the celery root. Looks like a tough boy. Oh, good evening, Dad's old chop. How are you doing today? Grab. So I think I'm probably going to work with about half my celery root here. So just get in here, start peeling this bad boy, seeing what. Let's see what damage we can do to him. How are you? How are you? Having a good day? Hope you're having a good day. I gotta say, my day's been pretty alright. Man. What's it? Wow! Doing good. Want to work out more, but I'm sore from volleyball. Oh man, I feel you on that. Yeah, I tried, I've been trying to work out a little bit more consistently since November. And I've been mostly successful. I never always seen it made into a puree. Oh, interesting. I mean, mean, it's definitely celery root. And I was actually a little concerned I was not going to actually find this, but you know who came in clutch for me on this stream? Meyer. Good old Meyer, which there's been a couple of times where I've had ingredients I've needed for these streams, and Meyer has just come in such clutch. So I think we're going to work with about half our celery root, and I'm sure just by judging by the general looks disposition of this feller, he's going to be a pain to cut. But we'll actually start with the stem here. Ooh. Ooh. Are they upscale or just... So Meijer is actually a supermarket chain, very similar to a Walmart, very similar. Well, they're honestly most similar to like a big Walmart or a very large, well, not even really a Kroger. They're a comparable brand to Walmart. They're based out of Michigan, so they're very much a Midwest thing. So they're like essentially they're a better version of a Walmart. Is what they is essentially their market niche. Okay. My in sliced nicely. Oh my gosh. Ooh, wow. That splits so much easier than the rutabaga. Rutabaga fought me the whole time. Okay, cool. And I think I have a pretty good chunk here. But yeah, Meyer's pretty good stuff. They have good selection. Oh, smoke to the eyes. Okay, so seems reasonable, and since this is tough, like the rutabaga, I'm gonna get it into okayish slices. Okayish slices. Okay. I think that'll be fine. Put you there. Bring it up. There we go. Keep on cute. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, there we go. And that's the feedback I like. Ha ha! Cubed celery root. But yeah, that's actually one of the apparently the downsides of the Stardew Valley cookbook is it actually calls for a lot of ingredients and just general stuff that are supposedly a little bit hard to source, and that's kind of been... Forge looked good. Did you play with it much yet? I have not played with it much. What I've primarily done so far is I just dry fired it. I just fired it up, checked to make sure it works. Well, written by college students, I see. I don't know. I mean, young adults. It's based off of what I've read so far. It seems to be... I feel like the cookbook kind of pushes you to be like, hey, hint, hint, wink, wink. You should probably grow some of your own ingredients for this. But unfortunately, I can't work with that time scale. I mean, I like the idea. I just can't work with that time scale. Okay. So. Yeah, we're actually done peeling. Off to the other worlds. So. Granted, you miss... So, we've got celery root, rutabaga, and then we've got daikon radish. I'm actually... Recipe called for what's called a Tokyo turnip. And I subbed out the Tokyo turnip for daikon. Because I actually still have After pulling this daikon, I have 2 radishes left. Granted, I think they're regular radishes. But that's the fun thing about radishes, is you can just have them around. And next ingredient, right at the bottom of my bag here, okay, is baby carrots. Now it calls for, I think it calls for purple and yellow baby carrots. I mean, for, of course, color. I mean, things are unfortunately terribly white in this bowl. So, but I don't need this whole bag. I need like 2/3 of it. So honestly, and since the carrots are gonna, supposedly the carrots should cook through sooner than the other vegetables, I'm gonna leave these baby carrots whole. That should keep them. That should increase their cook time a little bit more versus some of my other veg. Oh man. Ooh. Ah. I love carrots. Carrots are great. I wish I was better at growing them. Oh my god. My education involved a lot of recipe writing, and you could tell when a recipe was made by a cook, chef, college student, / writer, or a corporate accountant. Oh. You know what? I feel that. I'm sure when you're an expert in a field, you can kind of tell when something is done by someone who is not within that field. So, let's see. That looks to be all the purple and yellow carrots from a bag. A decent bit of veg. But I still think I got a little bit left in here. Because it's a 12-ounce bag, I need 8 ounces. So, I'm just going to grab a few of the orange carrots just to have a couple of orange carrots. Wow. Smoke. There. And snapped. Okay. Okay. So that's root vegetables prepared. And Jeepers Creepers, we gotta actually look at the book now. I'm pretty sure... Oh yeah, I'm gonna need some coarsely chopped kale leaves. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Coarsely chopped kale leaves. Thank you, root vegetables. That's a lot of root vegetables. I'm going to be eating leftovers of this for a while. But yeah. Who's that Pokemon? Oh. So, since this is the root platter stream, I figured, why not go with Oddish? I figured Oddish was the best one to like mark out the root platter. Also, I'm not sure how other people feel, but man, I just love Pokemon art. Pokemon art is just so cool. Howdy, YouTube recommended me the Forge build stream. I saw your live, so I thought to check things out. Oh, welcome in, ain't it? The ultimate little guy. Yeah, I was just such a little guy. But yeah. So far, we've got our root veg prepared, and I'm now trying to dig out kale from 2 plastic bags. Because I need 3 cups of kale, which I don't know if that thing... This thing full should be around 2 cups, I imagine. Yeah, actually, you know what? That's the easy way. You know what? Let's just try this out. Let's just try an idea out. And the idea out is... It said coarsely chopped kale leaves. Because we're actually going to be making a presto with the kale. So, I think just ripping bits off and getting them okayishly sized should work. should work. Come on. But yeah, I'm almost deeply scared at how. So what's the meal supposed to be exactly? So the meal is a meal called root splatter. It is essentially, it's this stuff. It's basically a whole bunch of root vegetables that are essentially roasted, but they're also going to be garnished with a kale-based, it calls for a kale walnut-based pesto sauce, but I'm actually going to be using pecans for my pesto because I have pecans. And I am a firm believer in, I'm in the camp of people who think that, well, I think that if I have ingredients that are reasonably close enough to what a recipe calls for, I'm going to use the ingredients I have. Yeah. Also, by the way, my fire's looking a hair bit sad. Let's fix that. Let's fix the sad fire. We don't like sad fire. We like happy fires around here. I'm a big fan of happy fires. A little experimentation doesn't hurt. Yeah. Also mentioned earlier that like recipes are like guidelines, and you can do a reasonable amount of substitutions. And I also especially know that through my beer brewing times. So, and honestly, I'm just gonna get this, yeah, because I feel like if I get this guy packed down, Laudable, I will ask that I don't receive pine nut pie. Give me the pecans. Which is funny because pine nuts are just so expensive. Pine nuts are definitely in the class of stuff where it's like my heart sinks if a recipe calls for it, just because, oh no, this thing the recipe is calling for is expensive, and I don't want to buy the expensive thing. Well, I don't know. The celery root and rutabaga weren't exactly cheap, especially compared to like carrots. But that's specialty vegetables for you. Specialty vegetables are just going to command a price premium versus stuff that's readily available. That's what I just call shogunate. Can't be helped. Yeah, but they do get cheaper the bigger you buy, and they freeze well. Yeah. I don't know. I might. Oh, pine nuts. Ah. I was thinking root vegetables for a moment there. Okay. I think I'm getting real close to the end of the amount of kale I need. Is that actually? Well, we're a half hour in. We can get cooking here shortly. There we go. And we'll just tuck all that in. Thank you for your sacrifice kill. Ooh, victim. I love it. Tasty victim. Okay. So I'm mostly done with this, with the exception I've got to cut a lemon later. But I think that's later. So, let's get back to our recipe. So what we got here? Preheat oven to 375. We're going to get close, not exactly. Put the curly kale leaves in a medium bowl, drizzle with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, season lightly with salt and pepper. Use your hands to massage the kale until it just starts to wilt, about 1 minute. Ooh, that's not a good bowl for that. That's fine. I got plans. Scatter walnuts in a small baking sheet. Toast in oven until lightly browned and fragrant. 6 to 8 minutes. So, what do I wish to do? Do I just want to go ahead and... We're going to go ahead and do some prepping of pine nuts. So, since this bowl is very densely packed with kale, I'm going to transfer some of my kale from one bowl to another bowl, and I'm going to work with 2 bowls. I got a massage Kale. It's had a tough day. I know, man. Kale just lives such a hard life being a member of the Brassica family, man. It doesn't get the respect that Cabbage does. Like, Cabbage is just the all-star Brassica. Now, granted, Kale is not marginalized to the extent that Brussels sprouts are. So, just a little pinch of salt in each. And, of course, my favorite oil for all oil-related uses, including engine oil, extra virgin olive oil. I forget kale even exists sometimes. Yeah, I primarily know kale exists simply due to the fact that it's easy to grow. Kale has been so easy to grow for me, which sucks because I like spinach more. Spinach is definitely a lot more tasty of a veg, in my opinion, versus kale. But I can grow kale. I can grow kale. It's easy for me to do so. Granted, we are getting so we'll do a little bit of mixing with you. Bring the second bowl over. We'll do a little bit of mixing with you. Ooh, nice fire. Just give that a nice turn over. I had more luck with spinach. My kale gets gobbled by bugs. They don't seem to care for the spinach. Ah, yeah. I mean, I did have one year. Gosh, what year was that? I think 2023. In the year 2023, all my brassicas in my in-ground bed got wiped out by one groundhog. Groundhog took out all my kale, took out my cabbages, took out my broccoli. I was really upset with the broccoli. I like broccoli. Broccoli's always been my veg that some people dislike that I like. Popeye still catching spinach promo checks. Yeah. I mean, spinach is really good. So, I think we've got ourselves some pretty nicely coated kale here, and my hands are also very deeply coated in olive oil. But that's fine. I need beer. Okay, now time to do something mildly difficult. Oh god. And that's get my hands on the cast iron. Because cast iron's heavy. Groundhogs and rabbits are pests. I sound crazy to my non-garden fans when I complain about them. I don't have issues with rabbits, even though I know I have rabbits in my area. Rabbits have been pretty benign to me as a garden pest. I haven't had much issues with those guys. Now, ooh, don't touch the book. Don't touch the book, Sugi. Because your hands are oily. You're like a mechanic right now, but with food. So, let's get ourselves a nice little section of parchment paper. And I'm going to just set it down. Whoosh. Woo-hoo-hoo. So, here are... Actually, wait. Wait, slowly roasted pecans with sea salt. Wait, were these pre-roasted? You know what? Usually don't eat a ton, but they dig and make nests. I had a nest where all the kits got ripped apart by a fox and I had to clean them before my kid went to see the Bunny family. Oh gosh. It's scary. Oh, I need like a third of a cup. That's plenty. Aw, sweet. I like that. I like it when I can just kill a thing. So these are technically roasted. So I think I'll just... Whoa! Holy, okay, yep. We've got... We've got quite a bit of wind happening. So, let's see here. Let's get the good old fire poker. Hook you. Bring you around. Drop. One piece of rebar. Positioned accordingly. Also, please burn down more oak. Also, I might be a little bit short on coals tonight. But that's fine. So, hook. And drop. Then, hook. And good night, walnuts. Sleep tight. So those bad boys are gonna cook for 6-ish minutes. Now, I need to give them a stir at 3 minutes. But I'm also not working with a preheated oven. Also, by the way, we're gonna be roasting our root veg for a while. So, since we're gonna be roasting our root vegetables for a while, this is gonna also serve as preheating for the Dutch oven. Because I might end up having to just throw every coal I have. Walnut pesto is a thing. I just remembered walnuts are great. Walnuts... Well, actually, wait, Dad's Little Shop. We like walnuts for both the... We like walnuts from the perspective of food and as wood. We like them from dual perspectives. Walnuts are great from 2 perspectives. Okay. And speaking of pesto, I better get the handy dandy food processor. Gonna set up here. So, got a little bit of time. I need more walnut oil. I think I want to try carving some spoons. Ooh, that sounds fun. Oh gosh. So, a lot of my cookware is, of course, this like bamboo stuff, and I love this style of cookware. I really love my bamboo stuff. I try to get my hands on every chunk of walnut I can. Nice, very nice. But one of the things I really want to do in 2026 is I want to try carving a exclusive set of wooden cooking utensils just for these streams. So that way I can have a set down here, but I also have a set. Also, my OGs will just live in my kitchen, whereas I'll have just an exclusive set for just what I do. Extra long handles. I just like spatulas like this because they don't... Actually, comparison. So, compared to like metal style spatulas tend to scrape cast iron a little bit too hard, and I really don't like hurting my my seasoning layer on it. So I prefer to work with this guy, especially if I'm working with good old cast iron coon here. Now, granted, if I'm trying to cook in... Even stuff like this will actually scratch my stainless steel pan. Whereas these bad boys, they don't scratch my metal pans. The metal ones will scratch my metal pans. But hey, this is actually a metal spatula I got from my grandma. Because she was moving out of our house and basically downsizing and getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff. And I grabbed these. And so, like, these spatulas, these are exclusively my Campfire cooking spatulas. Whereas this normally lives up in my, kitchen. So I'm trying to expand what I have down here that's reasonably readily available. Also, for instance, I have a set of measuring spoons. I literally picked these up at a flea market for like $1 because one, I needed metal ones, and these are just exclusively for here, which is one of the issues when you cook in a bunch of different places. You want one set of cookware for one area, then another set for another area. Because I'll dirty stuff for here, and then the next night I'll be like, oh, okay, cool, I need a spatula in my kitchen to cook something the next day. And then I realize I dirtied this and now it's in my dishwasher. And as a single man, oh wow, those guys are getting toasty. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, just give those a stir, and then I'm gonna be Smarty McSmarty 10. Because I'm wanting to roast these bad boys. Oh, wait, nope. Is this hot? No. Cool. I'm gonna use the hook in and bring this guy over. So, the Dutch oven is now being heated by radiant heat, not direct heat. Also, break, yes, please. Ah. Break up. Because this piece there that I just broke, that was oak. And oak wood is a lot more desirable for coals than all the soft maple I have. That's another thing I want to get this year is I want to get a nicer batch of firewood. Last year's batch was kind of mid. It was real mid stuff. Like, this stuff is so mid. It works, but it doesn't make for great coals, which makes me kind of sad because I like work, because I need coals to use this bad boy. I need coals for the Dutch oven. So we're gonna let this chill for a little bit, and then we're gonna take it off, and then we can start making the pesto. Start making a pesto. Love making things from oak, but boy, oh, it sure is nice too. Yeah. I've not made much with oak. For my CD shelf project, I used oak boards for the shelves because I actually made the frame out of sassafras. But I actually made the actual shelves where I store all my CDs. I made those out of oak because I got some oak for an obscenely cheap price, like a truly obscenely cheap price. Oh yeah, that's what. Oh well, actually, I have alternate means to do what I was just thinking about. But yeah, I have not. But past because. Really just to make those shelves out, because I was already working with S4S lumber, and I really didn't have to do a lot of planing, or all I had to do was cut it to length. It's definitely not easy to work with since it's so hard, but looks nice. Yeah. I really want to challenge myself with different woods this year. Granted, probably late this month. I'll be making a shelf out of hopefully a good chunk of the remaining sassafras lumber I have. Granted, the best thing about sassafras lumber is it smells like root beer when you're working with it. It just smells so amazing. Okay, I think I'm about ready to take that Dutch oven off, and I need space. Should pick up some soot. So let's try. So first up, actually now we'll just grab you. Don't move towards me. Please don't. You're very hot. You're very, very, very hot now. That's fine, though. Okay. So, do that. And oh my god. Woo! Oh man. The smell of that is so distracting. The smell of that was so incredibly distracting. It smells really, really, really good. Also slightly burnt, but that's fine. We can live with slightly burnt. Slightly burnt's fine. I don't think I've ever worked with any. Gotta find some. Have you ever worked with... Yeah! Oh my gosh. Okay. I've done quite a bit of work with Eastern Red Cedar. Because I've made 2 EPA woodsheds out of it. I made a set of 2 Japanese sawhorses out of it. I've worked with it quite a bit. I've made some bird houses. I've made a bat house. I've worked with a fair amount of it. And that's because I am based in Kentucky. And you might be wondering why the hell Eastern Red Cedar, Kentucky. So, a lot of people know that we have caves. Caves are typically made out of limestone, usually. Limestone shifts a soil's pH away from acidic and more towards neutral, if not alkaline. It's very rare that soil gets to alkaline levels. Eastern Red Cedar thrives on neutral to alkaline soils, so it's fairly abundant. And because it's fairly abundant in my state, there's a sawmill about an hour's drive from me that deals exclusively in Eastern Red Cedar. And I can pick up a 4x4 chunk of Eastern Red Cedar, 8 foot long, for $14 to $12, which is almost the price of like a pine 4x4 that's treated at like one of the big box stores. Like I've gotten Eastern Red Cedar for some like really cheap prices, and because of that, I've worked with it quite a bit. It's actually the main wood that I've primarily worked with. Huh, I didn't actually know that. Very cool. I'm jealous of that sawmill access. Yeah. Well, if for whatever reason you end up finding yourself in the state of Kentucky, so it's called the Glasscock Sawmill. It's based out of Bloomfield, Kentucky. Really cool place. Really nice people. However, though, there's like 2 Glasscock mills, which, funny enough, I actually went to the wrong mill the first time I went there. And I was like, wait. I looked around the mill and I was like, wait, I'm seeing hardwoods here. Like, what's all these hardwoods doing here? Like, there's just supposed to be Eastern Red Cedar here. And I went to the wrong sawmill. Okay. Goodbye. Okay. So, we've got some nice toasted nuts. So, to start making, let's see. There we go. We're locked. And for those who have been here for a while, you guys know how this food processor gets power. Someday that's going to destroy that plastic. Someday, but hey, I'm getting additional life out of this material, so got a pretty fine powder. It's glitter. Very warm though. Okay, cool. So let's just grab some kale from one of our bowls. Grab kale from one of... It'll be fine, probably. I mean, hey, so the Makita is helping me get a lot more use out of this food processor than I would otherwise get. So, eventually one of these days I'll need to buy another one, but hey, for now, I am a guy wanting to get all the use out of this guy that I can. Oh wait, I might be missing a step. I think I'm missing a step. I think I'm supposed to add olive oil to this guy. Because I'm supposed to be getting a nice... Oh, man. Oh, that smells incredible. That smells incredible, though. Okay, Buck, I know I'm going to touch you with oily hands, but you got to live with it. Okay. Transfer to small bowl. Keep cool. Keep oven turned on. Ah! This is where the garlic... Ah, okay. Okay, cool. So, we got a couple things. We actually have a couple things to add to this. So, I'm going to hit this with a little bit of our good friend olive oil, Coon. I really like olive oil, Coon. So that's going to help it make it a little bit more of a paste. However, though... Wait, where's the champion? Where's my champion? Oh, there's champion. So... By the way, this is Champion. They prefer to be called Garlic, but I just like to call them Champion because they're a champion in all my meals. Oh, sweet. I blindly grabbed a utensil and grabbed the right one. So, we'll get a little bit of that garlic goodness in there. Maybe an excessive amount because I believe in excessive amounts of garlic. Okay, and then... parsley leaves for part of our pesto. Now, I have bought parsley leaves multiple times for recipes like this, and I've been very sick and tired of needing a couple parsley leaves for a recipe and then throwing the remainder away because typically I only use parsley for like a recipe here and there. Well, apparently the Miser had potted parsley for sale. So, I have a garage garden. And since I have a garage garden, I was thinking, okay, cool. I can probably just buy this, get me a couple parsley leaves for my meal tonight, and then I can pot this once I'm done. And then this parsley can make more parsley leaves for the next time I need parsley leaves for a recipe, which is probably going to be, knowing my luck, either 2 months to 6 weeks. Is generally how it goes. So we'll take a reasonable amount of leaves off this guy, and then the rest will stay. The rest of the leaves will stay because I want to have a healthy parsley plant. So I reckon that's about a good chunk of leaves. So this will help me get a good chunk of that parsley flavor without too much bad stuff, I guess. I'm pretty sure I am just doing these ingredients right now, but as always, I have a reference material, and I'm a firm believer in using my reference materials. So, walnuts, in this case pecans, kale, garlic, parsley, and additionally seasoned with salt and pepper. So, let's hit it with some peppercorn. Little peppercorn. And then next up, I just do a pinch of salt because I already hit the kale with some salt. I think I'm actually plant stuff like parsley, basil, rosemary, except ends up being way cheaper in the long run no matter what. Stuff is expensive fresh at the store. Yeah. Also, if you can keep it around, like in a garden bed, it's really nice. Fears Dial, first time viewer. From Malaysia. Oh, wowie. From the other side of the world. Welcome in, welcome in. We're currently making the pesto, which is going to be kind of like a sauce and a exceedingly improvised food processor. Ooh, it's starting to look saucy though. So every year for my gardening, I've always added one more herb to my grow list. Last year's was thyme. I grew thyme for the first time last year. Oh yeah, that's really reduced down. Oh my gosh, it smells incredible. Sorry, well, I can get more light. Let's grab our light gun. Yeah, look at that flavor. It's starting to look more like a pesto. I think I might hit it with a little bit more olive oil, but we're gonna, because I want it to be a bit more of a, kind of like a thick sauce, I guess. Shucks, actually, speaking of pesto, there was actually a local brewery near me that one of their seasonal beers they would make during the summer months was a basil wheat beer. It was beer made with basil and wheat malt. And one of the really neat things about it were the thing literally tasted like the pesto on the pizza, but in liquid beer form. It was really incredible. Really incredible stuff. Granted, I don't think they made any of it last year. Or at least they didn't have it like on tap when I was there. So I'm gonna hit this with a little bit more olive oil. That's because I wanna. It's thick, but it's not like runny, like a sauce. So there we go. We're locked in. Grab Makita-kun. And okay. So I'm gonna just try shaking it. Granted, I think my improvised food processor is gonna be dying tonight. But yeah, let's just try and stuff everything in. I mean, it's looking all right. So hopefully we can get a little bit more of a blend on this. We should be pretty good, which when in doubt, more olive oil. We're firm believers in olive oil around here. Or at least I am. Oh man, that breeze feels nice. It actually got kind of warm today. At least as far as like air temperature. Because right now it's very not January air temperatures right now. Ah, yeah, I see. Oh, I ultra see. Okay. Okay. So it is not gripping the bit. And I've made PVC confetti. So, yeah, we're probably dunzos. Yeah, we're dunzos on the food processor. there was a way for me to reinforce that with like some metal or something. Ooh. Ooh, I gotta fix that. That's an easy fix though. On one hand, I want it to be January temps, but on the other hand, mid 60s in January is kind of nice. Yeah. Yeah. It was wild. Like, when the outside air temperature is like higher than my like basement air temperature, that's just so wild to me. Okay. So I'm just gonna try and clean off all the microplastics I generated, because I don't want to deal with microplastics in my food. Ideally. Mm-hmm. Come on. Granted, I know some of the white stuff I have in my cast iron here is ashes, because I get ashes everywhere. I think at that point those were macroplastics. Yeah, probably macro, not micro, but that's fine. Oh, wow. Oh, sweet. Beer's done. Oh, no, the beer's done. That's actually a good thing, though. So, we got our pesto done. Refer to instructions. Sweet, sweet, wonderful instructions. Okay. Place a large baking sheet at the bottom rack in the oven. We're not doing that because we're going with good old cast iron cone. Large bowl, toss. We're gonna actually use this bowl for the tossing. So toss once more. Okay. So we're gonna be tossing. So we're gonna use a liberal amount of olive oil. And then here, we've got our carrots, we got our rutabaga, we got our celery root, and then there's also some, and then we also have some daikon radish in here. So, these just get mixed in, just to get a nice even coating of the olive oil, which, I mean, also I like olive oil. Olive oil's tasty. And also, I'm gonna heat that lid up, ideally, because I want that lid to be nice and hot toasty. I think of my Dutch oven's to the point where I can touch it, so it's not very warm. Okay, so we'll call that first round mix. Then we hit with some good old peppers. Well, not peppers, but pepper. Okay. And also this recipe calls for kosher salt. Just a heads up there. For anyone following along at home, I don't think anyone's following along. But hey, if you actually have the cookbook, by all means. There we go. So, actually. Damn it, Sugi. You got ways of keeping your hands clean. Use the ways to keep your hands clean. Even though we're baking this at like high temperatures and it's not going to matter from a sanitary perspective, but it is very important to keep the hands clean. Because we're touching a book. Books must be treated with the utmost respect. Books are very important. Books are very much loved. We like a lot of things around here, but books are very high on the list. Very high on the list. Okay, come on down. So, scatter vegetables, single layer, hot baking sheet, roast until tender, deeply brown in spots. 25-30 minutes, stirring the vegetables once after 15 minutes, depending on the size of carrots. They might roast more quickly than other vegetables. Okay, cool, sweet. Oh. Shame they have the words I need in them. Dad's Old Shop. Books is a very good word. Books is a very good word. We like books. I like books. I certainly hope all of those viewing right now like books. I am very pro book, and I'm very I won't say like I like hate you or anything, but I'll just have a lesser opinion of people who don't appreciate books. So that is as reasonably close we will get to a single layer. Granted, we are going to be really roasting this bad boy. So let's grab. So the fun thing is with my handy dandy rebar, let me pull it off to the side, and my lodge. So, and there it is. Look. Behold. Behold, chat, the spoils of today's fire. Coals, an abundant amount of them. Now, the most powerful tool, and a tool I'm very eager to also do a separate stream on, it is Shovel Coon. The strongest of the tool coons. So let's get ourselves a nice Ooh, yeah, that's actually. You know what? Let's do a fair bit more for the coals. A little bit around. And there's our coal base. Look at myself, man. And then grab cast iron coon. Well, Dutch oven coon. And we'll just wiggle until the level. Done. Lid. The lid is very toasty and very hot, which is good. Come on over. Wait. Did you get bit? You got bit. Maybe. I don't know. Camera may have been touched. Okay. So, let me just break up my coals and angle them into a pile, and then we're going to apply a very stay put. And then we're going to apply a very liberal amount to the top of the Dutch oven. Ooh. Ho, 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 ho. Look at the glowy, flamey doom. Glowy, flamey doom. Okay. Tap, 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 tap. Come over here. There we go. And let's stop standing over the fire. Oh, gosh. Oh, man. But yeah. There we go. We've got... It's already sizzling. So, okay. So at 110, we're done. Well, we got it cooking, so that's good. We're actually doing really good on pacing. I'm happy with the pacing. And so, in the interest of all things that entertain me, more fire. More fire. I like how I got a pretty good leaf down there. And that leaf, you get the burst into flames. Now, let me grab a little bit of the water here. I did bump that camera, didn't I? Maybe a little bit. Slight misalignment, that's fine. So, now that we have our vegetables simmering in our Dutch oven, and cooking. I've got a little bit of breathing time. Calls for a beer. And beer number 2, Penny Royal. So, cheers. Man. Oh gosh, I love this. It's such perfect fall weather. It's really good fall weather. So, let me do a little bit of recipe review here. Just make sure I'm not missing any key points. Because I do know I have to use Parmesan in here at some point. Oh! So I actually have to add some Parmesan to my pesto. Cook them, give the kale pesto a good stir, season with additional salt and pepper if needed. Pesto might be thickened slightly as it sits. Stir in a touch more if you prefer it thinner. Okay. Cool. Actually, I think that gives me a good little to-do. Why? While we have our veg roasting, and that is so we're gonna work on extracting our pesto into a bowl. Since this is gonna take a little bit of work. A little bit of work, a little bit of effort. All worth it in the end. So just man. Let's get this guy cleaned off. But yeah, there you can see the bottom of the food processor. It got pretty destroyed. Granted, knowing my inner I want to like fix stuff part of me, I'm really tempted to think about seeing if there's some way I can put like a piece of metal in there with a slot, and then I can use that. Then I can continue. Then I can get a lot more use out of it as a food processor. But for now, it might be cooked. Granted, if I were to get one, I would. If I were to get a new one, I would want one with a slightly larger capacity than what this one is. This one's just This one's definitely a hair bit too small. I do have other food processors at the homestead, but those food processors are like they're a full kitchen appliance, and I don't have. I'm sure you guys can tell I don't have that kind of room around here. I do not have that kind of room. So, how much of this wonderful Parmesan cheese do I need? 3 tablespoons. Plus shavings for garnish. Ooh! So, 3 tablespoons. Whoa. So, there's a tablespoon. So, looks like we're gonna be. Looks like this recipe calls for some pretty generous helpings. Ooh, nice sparks. Pretty generous helpings of the Parmesan, which I'm very okay with. Now, got a clump. So that's going to be the first one, and since I have a clump, I'm going to take care of it the traditional way. I broke it up a little bit with my spoon. But shake a doodle, shake a doodle, shake a doodle. A lot better. And some big ones down there, but that's fine. Two. And 3. And Sugi likes cheese. Ah, the good old Sugi likes cheese amount. So we'll just get that combined into our pesto. Oh wait. Oh, well, boy, don't be throwing sparks at me, buddy. Or smoke. I know you have opinions. No, I'm sure the kale is probably a little bit coarser than what the recipe calls for, but you know what? I'm gonna live with it. I think my food processor is probably officially dead, Zos. Okay. But it doesn't mean I can't mix by hand. Okay. So, I'm gonna take a little bit of a taste and see what this tastes like. Oh wow. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. Definitely does not need any more. Does not need more salt. Does not need more pepper. Which is the primary thing I wanted to evaluate before I continue. So, we are doing really well. And we just got veg to cook. It will get stirred at the 15-minute mark. So, good stuff, good stuff. Ah, man, I love this. I'm about to have tasty food. I've got myself a warm campfire, cold beer. I mean, all the various things that man's happiness is made out of. Oh wait, yeah. Also, so I had plans this weekend. I had plans this weekend with one of my friends, and my friend has canceled on me. So I don't get a whole lot of opportunities to do Sunday morning streams. So this upcoming Sunday, which, wait, 12th? No, 11th. On the 11th, I'll be finally finishing, and I will be finally finishing the flip stool cart build. No, the flip to cart build. Blech, words. So we'll be doing that Sunday morning, 10 a.m. EST, and we'll finally get that project off the books and done. Because one of the things with the Forge build is I had a lot of work pieces from that build, and like this is a full piece of shop furniture here. Well, if I have a full piece of shop furniture worth of like work pieces lying around, it takes up a lot of my free table space because I don't have a very big garage. My garage is only about 300 square feet, so it's honestly, it's pretty alright for where I'm at right now. It's just being the serial hobby picker-upper I am. I'm definitely a little bit constrained, but we'll see. Ooh, man, you're really sparking tonight, aren't you, buddy? But we'll see how things go over the course of the next year. Depending on how things go over the course of the next year, I might... Gotta build that 60 by 60 shop. Ain't it? You're talking about the dream. You're talking about the end goal in life is have. Honestly, I'd be like ecstatic with like a 60 by 40-foot pole barn. I would be in so much love with that. It's just the way my house sits on my lot. It's really hard for I might be able to do that, but it would look weird if I put a building that big on my lot. Granted, I mean, I live on a quarter-acre lot. Like, I live on a fairly decent-sized suburban lot. I have grown a lot of trees, which, going back to the walnut conversation from earlier, I actually transplanted a small plant that I originally thought was a sumac. I was like, ooh, look, sumac. I like sumac. You can make a nice, like, lemonade-type beverage out of it. Well, that turned out to be a black walnut tree. So I've now got a black walnut in my side yard. And I'm also in the process of slowly turning my yard into a food forest, but I just have nowhere to, like, locate a large external building. I am currently considering at some point building a garden shed. If I build a garden shed, then I can move all my gardening stuff out of the shop. And I also have like a little bit of automotive type stuff, you know, like floor jacks, stuff like that, which that stuff will also migrate with the garden stuff to the shed. And I'm really considering that. But ooh, nice wind. But I would also like a pavilion, and that's kind of my debate right now: is do I build a pavilion, which I think would look better because the spot, because I have a spot off the side of my driveway that's already like got a gravel base to it, and it was basically extra parking. That's where I want to stick the shed project, but the shed will basically abutting my in-ground garden, and I'm trying to figure out what would look good. And because I basically have one parking spot worth of room where I want to stick a shed, then I have my 2 wood sheds. Each wood shed has is 4 foot in width, 8 foot long, and then behind the wood sheds is a fence. And I'm just like, how do I squeeze as much utility out of the land I have? Because I think a pavilion, especially if I make the pavilion kind of tall, to where it kind of like overhangs the woodsheds, that would look very nice. It would look really nice. I have some sycamore trees because I have a fence here, woodsheds, parking spot, and then I've got like 2 sycamore trees here. Like having like 2 big old, well, they're not big boys yet, but they are getting big, and they're currently the fastest growing trees I've got around here. But having some nice big sycamore trees, then a pavilion, the woodsheds, I think that will look really nice today, and I think that will look real nice to the next person who buys my house, which I am trying to keep that in mind as I go about all the crazy shenanigans that I do at my house. Because as fun as it is to customize a house to your preferences, you gotta keep that resale value in mind, especially in today's housing market. I really want to consider future resale value at some point, because right now I don't intend to die in my house, because as I mentioned earlier, I only have a quarter acre. A volleyball court is 60 by 30 feet. Okay, so I definitely at least want a 60 by 40 foot shop. Granted, a 60 by 60 would be nice. Shucks, I was watching Witworks build his. I forget, because he settled on a weird size. Like, I want to say he either settled on 80 by 80 or 60 by 60. I don't know. I would consider, honestly, I'm willing to buy as much shop as my budget would allow. If my budget allows me an 80 by 80, I'll buy an 80 by 80. Granted, shucks. Things I want to do with a shop. Because things you can do with a shop is you can also have like porches and lean-tos that kind of like increase the area. 60 by 60 is pretty big. You need a lot to fill that up. Ooh, but anything over 15 by 20 I consider a production shop. Oh, sir, you don't understand. You don't understand the type of... So, I'm very much my grandfather's grandson. So, my grandfather, as his retirement, as basically his like retirement, keep himself busy, and also earn a little bit of extra money thing he did, is he did antique furniture restoration. He did a lot of that. He specifically specialized in Hoosier cupboards. That was like his specialty, but he was also just a general antique dealer, which he started doing that when I was leaving grade school. Well, like elementary school. So as I like grew up as a kid, like I had access to a full antique shop. It was really cool. He got a lot of neat stuff. A lot of neat things went through his shop. And it was a really good time as a kid. But I think he started out with a... I want to... Oh, gosh. What was it? 20... Because his first shop seemed like it was like 20 feet... Maybe 20 by 40? Or 20 by 50 or something? Or it could have been like 50 by 25. I don't know. It was roughly in those sizes. But that was his original shop, where he started doing all this. He also had this shop plus a full barn, which he would store like lumber, miscellaneous stuff. He had his table saw there because he basically had a barn, and then he had his like pole barn shop. Well, he eventually added on to it, and the add-on he added to that thing was big. I want to say the add-on he did was like 30 by 60. Lots ain't that big up here in the urban Northeast. So my grandfather was primarily active in northern Indiana. His homestead was on a 3+ acre lot. He had land to do that. But honestly, if I'm gonna, as far as I can tell, within the current means I have and my ability to currently earn an income, I don't see myself buying that much shop space. Now, granted, I do see myself being in a good enough financial position to get a pretty good shop. Maybe, who knows? Maybe like 30 by 60 or something. I don't know. Buying a pole barn is firmly within dream territory. I think my house is on an 80 to 90 foot by 30 foot plot. Oh gosh. Wowee. Oh man, my house is most of your plot. Which I think I'd lose it. Okay, so these vegetables are far overdue for starting. So we're gonna set them there. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. It smells really good. Wait, do I have this much arm? No, I don't have that much arm. That's fine. I have a lot of fire poker. Oh, wow. Uh-oh, light mode. It sounds small, but it's like 2,000 plus square feet we're building up here? Oh, gosh. I grew up in a 700 square foot one bedroom home, thankfully out of there. Ah. Oh, man. Listen to that veg sizzle. You know what? Oh, man, that even feels soft. Okay. Oh, man, that's lovely. That's wonderful. Okay, so in the interest of not going too far, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave the vegetables off the... I'm going to leave them off my coal base, and we're just going to use top coals to finish up the cook. So that way they kind of roast a little bit more, because I did have some burning, but that's honestly been my history with the Dutch oven, has been a little bit of burning on the bottom. But yeah, I did the math once. My house is 20... I want to say my house is 26 by 59, because it's like 26 feet this, because it's a rectangle. It's 26 feet this way, and then it's 59 feet the other way. Technically speaking, it's too much house for a single guy. But I kind of have played the... A lot of people like to talk about housing hacks, and I played the ultimate housing hack, and that's called inheriting. Because inheriting comes up with... Well, inheriting's powerful in a lot of ways, but if I got into the details on what's called stepped-up tax basis... Yeah, if I got into the details of what stepped-up tax base that does for me, and all those nitty-gritty details, you people would throw bricks at me. You would throw bricks at me. Deservingly so. It feels empty here when my family's away. Yeah. A little small loan of a house. Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure how to put this to you, Dad's old shop, but my mortgage balance right now is less than my annual income. Granted, I did break 50K last year, so that's definitely a big sip beer. Hell yeah. Hate the game, not the player. Oh gosh. I don't know. I can probably get you to hate this player. I guarantee I can get you to hate this player. And here's how I get you to hate this player. I'm really happy for you. Okay. Well, here's how I get you to hate this player. My dad passed away in 2019. So I officially inherited the house, like, did all the paperwork and transferred everything over late 2020. Guess what I did to put the mortgage in my name? I refinanced the mortgage. The mortgage my dad had, to put it in my name. In late 2020, early 2021. Yeah, I halved the interest rate on that loan, and I have a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, so... God, how many years left do I... Wait, it's 2026. I've got like 11 years. Yeah, the AP... Wait, annual the mortgage, my interest rate on my mortgage is like sub 3%. So if you have bricks, you may throw them at me. I somewhat deserve that. Granted, I had no real understanding of housing prices doing the things they've done since that time. Because housing prices have done really weird, have been stupid since that time. Like, oh my gosh. Earlier this year, when the county because the county, I got my house in 2018, so my interest, okay, yeah, that's very reasonable. My house has gained almost 5%, well, 50% of value on just the land value alone. On the land value? Jeepers creepers. Like, because when the county redid the land valuations this year, because, well, not this year, it was last year. They redid it 2025. My house appreciated by around about that amount of money. Yep, not the French Drain improvement or anything. Well, I know one of the I easily know one of the reasons why my house went up in value so much is the solar panels I had installed. That was easily a big boost to my home's value. I got to sit here in college and feel like a clown watching all the housing and land prices spike like crazy when COVID hit. Yeah. Oh gosh. Like, because the thing is, even if I did inherit the home, well, I did inherit this home. I was actually, that's rough, ain't it? Yeah, it is straight not fair. It truly is. It truly isn't. Granted, I think the case for buying land and then building on your lot is insanely good right now. Which I actually have a family friend, him, his wife, they're currently going through that process right now. Granted, they apparently got like an acre lot for like $3K, which I'm the type of person who's like, if you get an acre lot for like $3K, I'll be raising some eyebrows. What sort of skeletons are buried in that soil, yo? My mortgage is less than the average rent across most of the country. Ugh. Yeah, I don't even want to think about. I can't talk about my mortgage. Get bricked. Yeah, it's rough. Not looking forward to purchasing when I figure out where I want to set up shop. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I say like finding some land and then building on it is probably the best route to go nowadays. For 3K, I assume you have to do all the plumbing and electrical yourself. Yeah. That's primarily what I'm thinking they're gonna have to do, but I was actually just told about some of those details like last weekend, so I mean, considering the fact that these people are, so it's actually my bestie's brother who's doing this, and for those who don't know, me and my bestie are basically family. We're essentially family because me and my bestie have been friends for over 20 years. So we're super close. So I'm sure I'll eventually see the lot and probably go over to the house and then try not to panic. Because I can only imagine going, because, shucks. watching the neighborhood that went up behind me go up, and some of the details I noticed in some of the housing, because the housing was very. One of the glaring issues I didn't like is that the sheathing was done in a. I want to say traditional, but not traditional. It's not really traditional, like traditional for the '90s, where it's just OSB sheathing with Tyvek, and then you brick over it or siding or whatever. And I'm like, those houses are selling for like 300, 400K. In the sheathing style they went with is just mid. Housing just doesn't feel built to the landscape anymore. Housing is. These are strange times. Honestly, that's all I just want to say about that is like housing right now is strange times. It's truly strange times, but like I do watch a couple of builders on the YouTubes. Like they're built with the idea you'll always have water and power and dehumidifying. Older homes were built to use cross pieces and stuff. Yeah. Older houses are built to where if your AC fails, you can at least stay reasonably comfortable. But the thing about the Tyvek sheathing is that's not like high tier stuff. Like I've seen a couple people talk about the zip system. Zip system looks really good. I like the idea behind it. A house better have that type of sheathing system if I'm going to spend like 400K on it. Most housing these days are built by developers as something to sell, not to live in. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, also like developers just trying to make as much money as they possibly can. It's some of the stuff in new builds is. Oh god. Oh no. Now I'm thinking about things really. So. Oh gosh. Okay. So. I'm a blue collar guy. I do the HVAC. Our company got called out to a house that was 1 year old. 1 year old. The people were uncomfortable in their house, and it was an airflow issue. They were lacking supplies gosh, what did we do? I think we added this, because they were like, okay, this area of the house is hot, this area of the house is cold. And basically what happened is the duct system was very poorly designed. And my company was able to fix it by basically adding 2 sets of ducts, and then we added a really nice air filter to the ductwork system. Not too bad fixes. Something that 2 guys can like knock out in like a half day. This was a subdivision where the houses on one end of the street were built and lived in long enough to find out about these issues. And at the other end of the street, they were still building more houses. And my company kind of just looked at all these, because they're kind of like townhomes. And we just see like this row of houses, like 30 some odd houses on either side of the street, and realizing that all these houses have the same problem, we're just like, oh shucks. Oh, that one just threw so much seed out of my bird feeder. But yeah, we were just like, we don't want to fix all these houses. We have fixed 2 houses in that neighborhood so far. And it was just like, oh gosh, we know of this neighborhood, this sucks. And now 2 people's homes in this neighborhood have been fixed. And the people that we've done work for are people who like to talk to their neighbors. So we might have more work ahead of ourselves, depending on how things go. But it gets even worse. I know the name of the heating and air company that did the original work. And then I went to do a service on... It was a customer's rental home. They were renting out. And it was a newly built home. I go into the garage. I go up into the attic. And then I go and look at the system. And it's ductwork. And I'm like... Oh god, I've seen this before. This house has newly been built. And... oh god, there's issues. It's like, oh no. I have found a whole other neighborhood that's built poorly like this, and it's just like, well, because all I was there was to clean and evaluate the equipment, and that's all I did. That's all I did. I did not mention about the issues we've had with ductwork. If the tenant complains and the actual owner wants us to do something about it, we'll do something about it at that point. But for now, I'm not making that my problem, because it's just like, oh my goodness gracious, it's scary what is done out there at times. Okay, so I think this has been cooking for more than long enough. We're gonna delit it. Oh wow. Let's see here. Do I wanna? Sure. We're gonna give that a Texas slice. Sure, good buddy. Okay, so I feel like everything is looking very soft, very vulnerable. Oh wow, look at that. Oh yeah. That looks really good. Oh man, look at those carrots. Some of those carrots are split. I might have cooked this a little bit too long. But I know I was actually doing it at a lower heat, especially for the second half. So, but yeah, light mode usually gets activated if I have something like warm in this general vicinity. Because funny enough, sensing lights actually work off sensing heat, not movement. Fun fact for those who may or may not have security lights at their homestead. So, I'm going to just set you off to the side for now. And we're just going to continue to champion along and get into this. I have just a little bit left of my beer here. And we're going to take care of that. Now, plating time. Damn reptoids are making it past my security. Yep. That's how that works. That's how like the quote unquote motion sensor works. It actually works off detecting like body heat. It's actually not motion. It actually detects heat. The cat that runs around my homestead a lot is actually enough to set off my security light. And it's funny because I've actually been in my garage and I've seen the security light go off and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And it's like all cat. Or I've had cat set it off, I've had possum set it off, I've had raccoon set it off. Raccoon one was really fun. Yeah, the raccoon one was real fun because it was like 4 or 5 a.m. I woke up for a pee, and then I heard a really loud, like, bang clang sound down in this area, because this is very close to where the master bedroom is. So I'm just like, screw it, I'm up. Let's just come down here and take a look. Well, I come down here, and I find a trash can flipped over, because the raccoon was using it to climb on. It was an empty trash can. And there was a raccoon roaming around. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a raccoon. Who cares? It's a raccoon. Who cares? It's no big deals. Okay. So, remove fiery tender. Season if needed. Add more. Okay. Ooh. Oh, yeah, Lemon Coon. I forgot about Lemon Coon. Oh, man. Let's go ahead and prepare our final fruit. Lemon Coon. So. Ooh. Sure. That's fine. So, what I'm going to do, slice my lemon in half. I have to figure out a way to use this. Jeepers creepers. Ben. So, and then with half my lemon, use the 4-point system. It's going to get cut in half. We need that. Okay. So. Yeah. Got pesto on my shirt. Okay. That landed reasonably well. So, I'm going to give this a nice stir. And this is basically going to be like a flavor base for it. I'm going to throw half of it. We're going to do half of it. Just going to flatten it out. And that's going to be a bit of a base. Oh. Yep, good stir. A couple large spoonfuls into the bottom of the large serving platter. Yep. We're going to squeeze the juice from half a lemon on top. Yep. Scatter the roasted vegetables on top of the pesto. And squeeze them. Ooh. Flavor paste should be more of a thing. I'm lazy. Give me paste. Well, you can actually get garlic in the tube. I really like garlic in the tube. Ooh, wait. Do I want to use lemons on my tea? I do like using lemons on my tea. So, I'm just gonna give that a nice good squeeze. And that goes into the spent veg. Now, how ambitious. I use tube ginger because keeping ginger feels a lot like throwing up. Yeah. I'm definitely on camp tube ginger. Okay, let's get some veg. Woohoo! Oh no. So. Woo! Okay. Well, I loaded up my bird feeder with sunflower seeds prior to today's stream, and I think at this point I have lost all the bird seed out of my sunflower, out of my bird feeder. My bird feeder no longer has seed in it. Granted, I am really happy with my portion here. My portion's very reasonable. It's not too much, not too little. Yeah. I got burnty bits. Produce sunflowers next season. Yeah, but I like planting sunflowers anyway. Oh, wow. But yeah, I do know we have rain coming in tonight, so I think all this wind is like the Because you know how when like front comes into your location on the rotation? Yeah, I think this is like the pre-front wind. Like the front, similar to a bunch of French dishes, just with pesto instead of tomato. Wait, what? Ooh, 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 tomato. I like tomatoes. Tomatoes are delicious. Actually, I was actually snacking on tomatoes prior to today's stream. Was my like pre-stream snack was tomatoes, just to give me a little bit of something to keep me full. And that last little bit. Okay, sweet. Not too hot. Woo, not too hot. Mm. Ooh. Mm. Mm. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the sauce, like all the olive oil and juices and tomatoey stuff is like really good. There's a lot of French dishes that use root veg mixed with the tomato sauce. I have culinary exploring to do. Tomatoes with salt and pepper. Yes. You get it, ain't it? You really get it. Okay, so we throw a veg. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, that bird feeder is just getting thrown. Because I have it on my, Shunset, my shade sail? Shade sail. It's called a shade sail. That's what it's called. It's on that. And it gets bounced, and it's getting tossed around a lot. Yeah, it's getting a lot of eated. Okay. But yeah, this tastes good. I really like the flavor of all the root vegetables, plus the olive oil. It's really good stuff. So recipe calls for me to garnish with the remainder, which I think I'm going to go with what I call a 4-corner strategy. Yeah, 4 corners plus maybe some additional. How's the celery root? Oh man, you're gonna have to ask me about that, man. We haven't even got the tasting. Because we're still plating. But if you're interested in the celery root, I will happily oblige. Oh my gosh. So much lemony juiciness. Oh man. And then we're just gonna really get this nut. Just from an aesthetic standpoint, it looks really nice. Oh, thank you. I'm very happy with the aesthetic. Honestly, when I licked a little bit of the olive oil goodness from the bottom of that, it tasted amazing. It tasted really good. Granted, this was also another reason why I was willing to sub the Tokyo turnips with daikon. If you're working with 4 root vegetables, you're going to generally get a good flavor, especially if you work with carrots. If you work with carrots, you're going to get like a really nice, like sweet flavor. That goes over there. Now, there's one more step. And that's the garnish with a little bit of Parmesan. Now recipe calls for shaved. I'm not that fancy. I have grated available. Grated's what I use. Also, I'm a Costco shopper. And, whoa. Oh man, that was just like a whole face full of ashes. Sprinkled cheese on deck. So. Holy. Holy smokes. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's never happened before. Oh. Whew. That was scary. That got scary. Oh man. Are you okay? You might be okay. I hope you're okay. Oh man. Holy smokes, that was a new one. Holy smokes. Okay, yeah, we're back. It was bad. It wasn't getting it. Yeah. Oh my. The wind blew. Okay, so the wind blew over not only my iPhone on its tripod, it also blew. It straight blew over my monitor. That's why the lamp fell over. Holy smokes! That's never happened. That has not ever happened. And I got really concerned because the ring light fell into the. Yeah, yeah. It straight blew over the monitor. VTubers, streaming outside is dangerous. It's very streaming outside is a very dangerous place, but it's also a very fun place to stream. I like streaming outside. Okay, so this is the Roots Platter from Stardew Valley. I am very eager to dig into this. However, though, there's priorities. I have priorities. I am a man of my priorities. And one of those priorities is beer. Now, this is my pale ale that I brewed with homegrown hops. And this is going to be my drink to accompany this. And I very dearly hope I don't get any significant more wind gusts that disrupt the streaming setup. I mean, I've certainly never seen anybody set up a VTuber cam looking this good. Oh, thank you. Part of the reason why I actually do this is I wanted to see this. I wanted to see this. And no one was doing it, so here I am. Great. Let's start digging in. Let's be quick about this. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's soft. That's really soft. That's good. Oh, man. Oh, God. What was that? Oh. Okay, well, guys. The reason why my streaming setup's askew right now is the wind has thrown my wheelbarrow into my streaming setup. Huh, okay. Oh dear gosh. Well, that's certainly new. Let's try some of this pesto. The wind ain't playing. The wind is not playing, man. Oh man, that was some good pesto. Yeah, fuck you, wind. I got good food here, man. I think the wind's trying to end things early here. I mean, we're really close to the end. Because usually what I'll do is I'll give like tasting notes. Be like, hey, here's what I like about it. Here's how I feel about the experience. But wowee, the wind is definitely trying to be like, fuck you, VTuber. Wait. Oh, I just lost my PG-13. I just lost my PG-13 rating with 2 F-bombs. Full of good nutrients. Yes. Yes. Now, granted, I really want to get the carrots. All roots are... Yes. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Carrots are absolutely melt in your mouth, soft and sweet like a carrot. Oh man, that's what I love about carrots. Like, especially like carrots in like a good beef stew. Oh, just picking up like the rich umami of the beef, and then with the sweetness of them, makes carrots really nice. But yeah, let's try a little bit of daikon here. Oh man, nice firm texture. Ooh, got just a hair bit of that pizzazz from that a radish has, but not overwhelming. Oh my gosh, I like that. Oh man. Also, I gotta say, I knocked it out of the park with this pale ale. I made a really good pale ale with that. Oh, and we're back in light mode. Oh, I'm trying to think. Is there any? Because we tried some of the. I don't know if I tried. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between the rutabaga and the celery. So, we're gonna just eat some stuff. But granted, I will say, rutabaga, celery, those bits taste really good. Really good. Like, nice and soft, easy to eat. Like, this is so easy to eat. Like, totally can be grandma tier. Can totally be grandma tier. Also, just for the post-stream post, get a nice little bit of an up close there. Also, I'm willing to dig in. So let's get a little bit of our root veg with some garnish. Oh my gosh. So we hit our root veg with some salt. But the garnish is a little bit on the salty side, which is nice. It's nice when paired with the root vegetables. By itself, it might be a hair bit too salty, but that's also because I was using pecans with sea salt versus just straight walnuts that the recipe called for. So things ended up a little bit on the saltier side of things, but not significantly so, which is good. Oh man. Give me a purple carrot. Give me a purple carrot. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's so good. It's so tasty. Now, could it potentially? I bet it would be good with some fresh harvested pecans. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think so. Granted, that daikon I just had, that was harvested 4 hours ago. I mean, that's about as fresh as you can get. Nah. Oh gosh, this is great. This is, you know what? Stardew Valley cookbook. First recipe out of you. The best way to do it. Well, I just happen to have daikon radishes in my cold frame. So it was available resource and a reasonably available substitute for, because the recipe calls for a root veg called Tokyo turnip, which is a variety of turnip native to Japan that has a very thin skin that you can just dice up as is. That's also how I utilize my daikon in this. And it seems like an appropriate substitute. And I feel like, honestly, at the end of the day, it truly was an appropriate substitute. Man, I gotta say, I am very satisfied with today's meal. This turned out really well. Really good. Overall, good day. Today was so good, nature's mad at me about it. Stop doing that. So, I'm gonna wrap up tonight's stream. I'd like to say thank you all very much to all who tuned in. Thank you all very much for chatting with me tonight. Very lovely night. Next stream will be Sunday, 10 a.m. Wait, are we in EST or EDT? Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Seaboard of the U.S. will be the next stream, and we'll be doing some woodworking then. But yeah, with all that, I'd like to say this is Sugi Yamagawa. Thank you very much for tuning in. May you have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever it is, wherever you're at. And hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. Glad I stopped by. Really cool to see someone doing more unique VTuber stuff. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. That's what I try to do around here. And you have a great rest of your day, ain't it? And see you around, Dad's old shop.